Hi everyone, welcome along, thanks for tuning in. Nigel here. Before we start, can I please just remind you to, if you like what you see here, subscribe, like, hit the notifications channel. You'll see lots and lots of what I've got coming up and what's already on the channel. It's a fairly new channel, but I try to get stuff up every day. I've got tips and guides and reviews and builds and all sorts going, and I'm trying to cover everyone's different interests with aircraft, vehicles and different periods of time as well. What we've got here today is another World War I vehicle review. I've literally just got this from Antics in Stonehouse, their main warehouse. It's a fairly cheap kit. I think it was about $18.99. So yeah, fairly cheap little model. It's a fairly new model as well from ICM. It comes in a lovely glossy box. I haven't actually looked inside the box yet. It does come with about 4 or 5 of those 1-inch round circular tape things, which I've cut open so I can get the lid off now, but I haven't actually even removed the lid of the box. This is a kit of the American Ambulance Field Service car. It was the Model T it's based on, was developed in 1917, and straight away they brought some out over into France to support the American guys in the First World War, and this ended up becoming the most commonly used ambulance through the whole of that war. So it's quite an iconic little vehicle, and there's a million different diorama. You know, I know it's 35th scale, not 32nd, but can you imagine, you know, a crashed World War I aircraft, nose down in the ground, a couple of guys with the pilot on a stretcher, you know, maybe a little morbid if you like, but wonderful little diorama. It's just a shame that a lot of these vehicles aren't 32nd, or the aircraft aren't 35th, because to the purist there is a difference in size when you look at them, but to the average man on the street you'd never notice it. So yeah, brought over in 1917 to support the American guys, and sort of became the most common used ambulance through the whole of the First World War. So we're going to have a quick look around the box. This kit is number 35665. We've got some words on the side there, which is basically what I've just told you. I'm sure there's more to learn than what I've just told you. And you can see we've got 1917 ambulance early. I don't know the differences here, early and late, so I'm sure we'll find out. And then we've got some colour schemes there. It's great with those white tyres, isn't it? Or off-white tyres. And it says for collectors age 14 and over, so you're not allowed to build it, you can only collect it. So yeah, then we've got the same picture but on its side this time on that end. So let's have a quick look inside the box. We'll count up the sprues and their bags, and then I'll go off camera, change the scene, and we'll have a look inside the sprues. Oh, we've got another one of these copper estate model type boxes with the actual box inside a box. So that unclips, gives you a nice strong box to keep your model in, or if you get fed up and you want to put it back in your stash, bag in the box, in the stash, it won't get crushed. Nice strong box. And there's some sprues in a bag there. They look like they're not individually bagged. We've got some clear parts here. Looks like we've got 2 bags of clear parts. And we've got the instruction manual, which is like a proper little book rather than a fold out thing. And we've got our Decals sheet, which is fairly simple. That's a nice touch. We've got the French and American flags down there. So yeah, there we go. So I'll get all this put away now and we'll have a look inside the sprues. Okay, so here's the manual, A4 sheet, size sheet before it's opened out. Lovely glossy paper, which is really, really nice. But do these manufacturers realise that it causes us reviewers a nightmare with all the reflections off the paper and everything? So yeah, can't please everyone, eh? So yeah, we've got some information here about the kit. Some information here in Ukraine. Yeah, and then we've got the colours used down here, and we've got Revell and Tamiya colour call out. It's nice to see they haven't gone to the AK or other things, other manufacturers. So yeah, we can always get a cross-reference for those. That's really, really good. So that's good of them. We've got the health and safety here. Don't eat yourself. So open them up the manual. Now we've lost the glossiness, which is cool. This is a good thing for me. So very, very simple, laid out, typical ICM manual. Simple step by step, 2 or 3 parts at a time. very, very nicely done, very, very nicely laid out. Fairly complete chassis there. I would imagine the Model T chassis is very, very simple affair. Looks like we've got full suspension axle, steering detail, full engine detail. That'll lend itself to some simple wiring and stuff. The engines are very, very simple in this day, so side valve, just a few spark plug leads, job done really. Then we got the, what's this here? This is, looks like steps for the back, some benches for the back. And then we're starting on the cab. Working on the cab is the main part of the ambulance body. All this wood and everything, that'll be wonderful. It'll be interesting to see if it's got wood grain on it. And then, what's this, fuel tanks or batteries, I'm not sure. Going through, attaching the body to the chassis. Then we've got some little fine handles here to go onto the bonnet. The bonnet comes in half so it can be posed open. If you do want to pose it open, it looks like you're going to have to cut your own seam through there. We'll see in a minute on the plastic parts if we've actually got a guide there to help us. And then we've got these, I don't know, fender mud guards or whatever you want to call them. Toolboxes by the look of it. And we've got the other side, just basically the same thing. We've got some stretchers there to go on. Canvas roll, that would look probably quite good actually. Then we've got the spare tyres here, roof going on, and yeah, a little rear light there. I haven't seen any headlights going on. These are just these lights here. Okay, here we go, there's the headlights, the old type. This will probably be a good call out to get your brass metallizers out and get some polishing done. Is that a windscreen there or is that armour? Yeah, that's actually, if you look here, you see that's armour. So it's not that's not a windscreen, it's actually armour plating to cover the driver's chest. It's got a lovely looking little model. And on the back here we've got the colour call outs. What actual colour are they calling for this? L, which is, where are those colour call outs I saw on the front? L, intermediate blue, XF25. So let's have a quick look. XF25. That's 50. There it is. It's like a, it's almost like an RLMO2 colour. Yeah, it's going to look nice. It's going to look different than all your greens and dark greys and everything. Oh, and then the roof is E, which is khaki. Yeah, and then you've got the white tyres and everything. I think it's going to look a lovely little model. Very, very pretty indeed. So we've got here France 1917, France 1917. All we've got is different serial numbers by the look of it, but the period of time and everything is all the same. So let's have a look at these plastic parts. Okay, so we've got our sprues here, all bagged up. Looks like we've got a resealable bag, which is a nice touch. You can do your reviews, and then if you don't like it, you can stick it on eBay and sell it as brand new and still sealed, which is a good thing. Now then, we've got two clear sprues here. They look like they're also in sealable bags, which is a good thing. But how am I going to get into them? This is the Krypton factor. There we go. So I'm looking for Candid Cameron to be catching me out. I mean, Candid Cameron, there's a blast from the past, eh? So just have a look at these clear parts here, because we've got some kind of screen, and yeah, I think you can see there that's very reflective, very glossy, perfect finish, and obviously because it's flat, it's got no real distortion at all. Also, this has got a very, very slight tint to it. Very, very slight, if anything, pink tint. A bit weird. And then we've got another one here with some smaller windows there, you can see. So we've got 1, 2, 3 sprues, and just like that copper state models I reviewed, Again, the plastic feels quite oily, so it's going to need a wash. Yeah, you can see some oil on there. It's going to need a wash. So I don't know, maybe these manufacturers are using mold release agent again. Maybe they just have a little automated little spray. Of course, the result of that is we get finer, crisper detail, because the finer and the crisper the detail, the more difficult it is to actually get out of the mold. So yeah, using mold release helps them release the finer, sharper parts. If you can imagine, like a plastic cup shaped like a cone, a cylindrical cone, would easily remove from a mold. But if you've got something like a tyre, where you've got tread going around the sides, and then on these wheels, you know, you've got the mold going down in between the spokes, releasing it from that, you put draft ankles in, but releasing it from that's quite difficult. So mold release helps and enables them to give us sharper detail. So we've got some lovely wood detail on the inside of the roof there. Ejector pin marks all over this, but they are all recessed and they are all very small, which is a good thing. And then we've got the body sides here. There is no wood grain detail. I've got a mark in mine there. Now I'm not sure if that's a mould floor, you can see that, or if it's actually there. This side doesn't have it, but there's no wood grain, so if you wanted to model this as something beat up, you'd have to add your own wood grain detail and then use your hairspray technique or whatever to get back to the wood. So but that's no problem. It's got the planking on it, but in one of my videos I'm going to be showing you how I do the wood grain, especially on planks. It works really well on planks. It's not so good for doing the plywood type sheets like you find on the aircraft. Some more detail on here. We've got the engine covers, which are nicely molded. They don't have through vents, so you have to open them up if you want to. Little fuel tank, rear axle, the differential and prop shaft there, radiator, front axle, everything all up together. Engine detail, still a little bit oily, but very, very crisp. And lovely spoke detail, and even in there, look, you've got the little valve stem molded in, which is seems to be like a requirement these days. Lovely detail on the steering wheel, and on the back of the engine covers you can see they've got that line that I mentioned earlier, so you can just score it, snap it, or maybe it will bend, and then you can display the bonnet open, or the hood in this case because it's an American vehicle. And then finally we got this sprue A, and most of this isn't used. I think all you're really using from here is the actual floor here and this. I think we've got some stretchers which are used, but that's pretty much it really. So you'll have plenty of spares for your spares box. In fact, if you're into dioramas and you build this kit, you might have enough here to build like a farmer's chicken shed that he's made out of an old Model T van rear end. Yeah, there's imagination for you. So that could make an interesting little display, or even like a little tool shed in a railway yard or something like that, you know, where the rest of the front of the vehicle has been smashed or the chassis rotting out or whatever, and they've kept the back, which is something they used to do years ago. Instead of buying a shed, they'd utilise what they already had around them. There's a nice bit of detail on that by the look of it. I don't know if it's intentional, but it looks like it's kind of like a canvassy kind of look. In fact, where is that rolled up canvas? There we go. There's one half of it there and there's the other half there. So yeah, it would be interesting to see what that looks like. And then finally, decal sheet. Very glossy, not made by Cartograph, but nice touch there, as I say. Lovely. So there we have it. That is the ICM World War I Ford Model T ambulance, and it's kit number 35665. So yeah, thanks for looking. Hit like and subscribe, and pop back from time to time and see what I've been up to. There's lots coming. Thanks for looking. Bye bye.